On this episode of GWeek, an inside look at the Corcoran School of Art and Design.
Corcoran has a culture. It's more intense. It's got its own identity in a way that I think maybe the art department at GW doesn't quite have the same.
An exclusive interview with SA President Nick Gumas. All this and more on GWeek. Welcome to another season of GWeek. I'm your host, Mariana Sotomayor. We kick off this newscast welcoming our newest school to the GW community, the Corcoran College of Art and Design. The merger, which was approved by DC Superior Court in August, has allowed GW to acquire its collections and historic building, not to mention a new group of creative students. Reporter Holly Goldberg investigated the business deal that has already impacted many people in the art community.
The Corcoran Gallery, home of the Corcoran College of Art and Design, located on Pennsylvania Avenue and 17th Street, was bought by GWU in February, while the National Art Gallery takes custody of the art collection. This fall, Corcoran's art students are now considered GW students. The Corcoran School of Art and Design is now a new school under the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences, similar to the School of Media and Public Affairs. After the merge of GW and Corcoran, admission was free for a limited time this fall. Now, the Corcoran Gallery is shut down to renovate for student space.
They actually had a funeral for the museum. People who worked in the museum, they went around in each room and said names of people who were really influential. A lot of the museum is going to be turned into classrooms. I think they're going to have a gallery space upstairs for moving galleries and the student art shows, but a lot of it is just getting shipped away to different places.
National Art Gallery is coming in, and they're doing whatever they're going to do with the art. There's going to be a lot of new facilities, new dark room, new student spaces. We have a campus in Georgetown that's going to be moved into Corcoran, so pretty much all this art is going to be in one building now.
The logistics of the merge are still being worked on, but Corcoran students are already living on campus at Mitchell Hall, beginning the transition into GW Colonials.
There's something to be said about Corcoran students. I mean, our motto is dedicated to art, and I think that's definitely true with all of us. You can tell when we walk through the GW campus that we're a different circle. But I know the freshman class is around 35 to 50 kids.
The Corcoran has a culture. It's because it's a smaller school, in a certain sense it's more intense. It's got its own identity in a way that I think maybe the art department at GW doesn't quite have the same specificity. GW offers a BA, Corcoran offers a BFA, which is Bachelor of Fine Arts. It's much more intense. They don't take math classes, they don't take gen ed courses. They're in the studio all the time, or they're taking studio classes.
Just this month, the Corcoran website was turned buff and blue by GW. Corcoran classes are now accessible through the GW registrar.
For young mind, I think they should be exposed to many different fields, not only art.
To be able to take classes in all these other domains of intellectual pursuit, students have access now to all these other experts in other disciplines that can inform the work they're making.
I know as an art history student, being able to go to the Gelman Library and take classes at GW will be cool.
I actually changed my major to do the masters in art teaching as well, just because I knew GW did art therapy, and I was oh, that's interesting, maybe I'll go into that. The opportunity side of it. Any sports, Corcoran has nothing, and clubs and stuff like that.
I will say the Corcoran's a bit isolated from the GW campus, so in order to be more involved in student life, I think I had to join some organization, and I figured rushing would be a good way.
It's a good chance to see two different types of environments merge together, and I think as long as you're interested in art, you'll be happy about this merge.
Corcoran students worry about losing professors through the merge, as well as tuition increases. Corcoran students applying for next year will have to apply through GW and pay normal GW tuition. Luckily, no current students have seen major increases. All in all, the opportunities for GW and Corcoran students are only growing. For GW TV, I'm Holly Goldberg.
Holly is here with me now in studio. Thanks for joining me. So I know this story, is just the beginning. There's a lot of developments. What's going to happen now in the future?
Okay, so next semester should be the time when students will be able to take classes at the Corcoran, and the Corcoran will be able to take classes at GW. But as of now, most teachers and students don't really know any details because there hasn't been a director chosen for the Corcoran School. So this summer they're going to find a director, and then it'll be officially a part of the Columbian College. It already has been official, but they'll have all the details probably coming this summer, finalized. So we're gonna keep updating you on the story. Next semester we'll have another update, and then next year it should be completely finalized and the deal will be sealed.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for coming in and sharing that tidbit with us. Stay with us for more headlines after the commercial break.
The George Washington University, at the intersection of policy, practice, and research, connecting all that Washington has to offer with an intellectual environment that drives progress, transforming vision into action, offering learning experiences that are rigorous, real-time, and real-world. In a city shaping the future, George Washington is a place where faculty and students don't just study the world, they work to change it.
Records aren't broken on game days. They get broken at 6 a.m., late at night, while the rest of the world sleeps. Records are broken, one shot at a time.
Order your tickets today.
Welcome back to GWeek. Right when students got back on campus for the semester, a startling remark by former GW President Stephen Joel Trachtenberg shook up their opinions on sexual assault. In an interview with the Diane Rem Show on NPR, the former president said, quote, "Without making the victims responsible for what happens, one of the groups that have to be trained not to drink in excess are women." I'm now joined by one GW senior who is the voice of our student body. It's none other than SA President Nick Gumas. Welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So since we were just talking about sexual assault, I wanted to ask you if the SA has any plans moving forward to kind of bring more awareness on campus. I know President Knapp has even gone to the White House, and the school's kind of trying to bring awareness to it, but has it really come up that often?
Sure. So the Student Association actually played a big role in making sexual assault a salient issue for our student body last year. Kostas, who was our executive vice president, ran a campaign primarily on reforming our sexual assault policy. So last year, the Student Association was actually able to abolish the statute of limitations, for example, for survivors of sexual assault who are looking to report. This year, we're focusing more on education, programming, and just keeping the issue alive so that students are aware that this is a big issue on campus. The White House just launched the It's On Us campaign, for example. So yeah, President Knapp went to the White House. I was also able to go. It's a student body-wide sort of initiative that the White House wants SA presidents or the equivalent at different universities to start like a grassroots campaign bringing awareness about the issues surrounding sexual assault and making sure that all relevant stakeholders are actively participating in ending sexual assault on college campuses.
So since you were there, now I have to ask you, what inspiration did you get from the president's speech? And also I know there were sexual assault survivors there as well.
Yes, so the president spoke, the vice president spoke. The vice president obviously has a long record on working on women's issues relating to domestic violence and sexual assault. And there were several survivors as well as individuals who work for several nonprofits, relating to the issue of sexual assault. It was a really great event. It was really inspirational to sort of see all of these really important figures coming together on such an important issue. But I think what was the best part about it is that this is a sort of top-down initiative that we're seeing, is that, sexual assault has been a big priority for, women's advocacy organizations, college campuses, around the country, but now we're seeing, the President of the United States saying this is a priority and we all need to work together to make sure that we end sexual assault.
Right. So now I want to ask you a little bit more of what you've been actually, I think you ran on this issue, is the peer-to-peer hotline program. I believe it was on Monday the SA Senate passed a bill. Can you tell us, one, a little bit about the program itself, and then do you actually see it becoming part of the student body?
Sure. So the idea behind a peer support program is essentially that you allow undergraduate or graduate students who are interested in becoming involved in the issue of mental health to train them on a variety of issues relating to mental health for college-age students. So whether that's body image issues, LGBT issues, anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. You train these students so that they can be a resource for their peers. Students who are suffering through a variety of problems for whatever reason may not feel comfortable speaking to a trained professional. like an adult clinician, and may feel more comfortable speaking to a peer about their issues. So the idea is that we provide that resource for students. We see several successful models of this program at Cornell, Harvard, University of Pennsylvania, Northwestern, the list goes on and on.
Right.
So we're looking to emulate those programs and to fit them in to see what would work best for GW. So the SA Senate passed the bill unanimously. I was happy to see that. Avra and I have been working really hard on this pretty much since day one, back in May when we officially sort of took these positions. So yes, I'm confident that we'll see some type of peer support program implemented on our campus. It will just take time. So when I was running for SA president, I was very clear, vote for me because the three things that I'm sort of advocating for are tangible things that I know can happen, but don't think that they're going to happen instantly. This is a process. In the next year's election, you need to make sure that you also support candidates that want a peer support program, that value diversity and inclusion, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a process.
Right. Now, do you think that the university itself, I know the counseling center, has been adding new or at least new outlets for students talk to each other, or at least to reach out to the counseling center, but do you think that this should be more of a responsibility on them? Why did you feel the need for students, for the SA, to bring up this kind of legislation?
Sure. So the University Counseling Center has group counseling, for example, as well as other resources, and they are continually hiring additional counselors, quite frankly, to meet the demand of our student body. I shouldn't say new, it's been a year or two, but Silvio Weisner, who's the new director of the UCC, has done an amazing job in terms of cutting the wait time, for example, for students waiting to see a counselor, and really making the UCC a point of pride for our student body and for our university. And I don't want to in any way imply that the University Counseling Center or that this peer support program would take the place of the University Counseling Center. They're two completely different things. Okay. You go to the UCC to speak to a professional counselor, to get help about mental health issues, to have a serious conversation, to have a professional talk to you from a point of expertise. You would go to the peer support program just to talk. And the peer support volunteer is not there to offer professional advice. They're not there to make suggestions of what you should do. They're just there to listen and to essentially ask you, what do you think is best for you to do? Right. Peer support volunteers will be trained to know that if a student comes to them with a serious mental health issue, or if they feel that they're not able to address what the student coming to them is talking about, they'll refer them either to the UCC or another relevant resource on campus. And that's what we see at other universities as well.
And I just wanted to ask you one last quick question. What else are you looking to implement, or any issues to bring up in the future?
Sure. So we've also been working really hard on the internship credit initiative. So 90% of our student body will have an internship before they graduate, but not nearly as many will have that internship count for credit. That's in large part because it's so expensive to have an internship count for credit. So for example, over the summer, it's $4,000 essentially for a 3-credit internship.
Wow.
If you are a average 15-credit student in a fall or spring semester and want to take an additional 3-credit internship, that's still $1,300. So we've been working with the provost's office to see if we can allow students at least once during their academic career to waive that 18th credit fee for an internship, and also to see if we can alleviate the cost burden for summer internships as well.
Right. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us here.
No, of course.
I learned a lot, and I'm glad you were able to come.
Of course, thank you.
Thanks. We'll be right back.
Academic institution with a fine athletic tradition. Patricio Garino throws it down with 2 hands. Wonderful city. It's a great place to go to school.
Keaton Sandwich open down the right side. We're going Duncan with his right hand.
Not just a family, it's a whole community.
Armwood Duncan with 1.9 seconds left. Armwood, a thunder slam. 81-80 George Washington. A huge victory for the Colonials.
Welcome back.
Not welcome here at GW, sir. We need diplomacy, not wanting for war. No more war.
You are not welcome here, sir. Those are some strong words a student protester directed towards former Secretary of Defense and CIA Director Leon Panetta while he spoke at the Jack Morton Auditorium. Earlier that day, members of the Progressive Student Union, a social rights group, protested outside of SMPA against Panetta for authorizing drone attacks that killed American citizens in the Middle East. Panetta didn't respond to the protester and continued talking to SMPA Director Frank Sesno as part of the conversation series. No need to wait in long lines at package services anymore. The facility introduced 5 new kiosk systems around campus that alerts their staff when you're on your way to pick up your delivery. All you have to do is swipe your GWeek card at a kiosk in the Marvin Center, Shankman Hall, Thurston, or outside of package services. The kiosks are open 24 hours. Package services close at 8 p.m. on the weekdays and 6 p.m. on the weekends. Ever wanted to take a trip around the world? GW is making that a possible reality. GW's Chief Academic Advisor is revamping a formerly failed program that will allow students to travel abroad for 3 years. The program is called the Global Bachelors Program and may begin as early as next fall. GW has announced its commitment to refurnish, rebuild, and construct new academic and dorm buildings in the next 10 years. As new buildings keep scraping the Foggy Bottom skyline, we'll be telling you what's new on and around campus. Reporter Mary Grace Brown toured the Milken Institute School of Public Health earlier this week and got an inside look at the cutting-edge classrooms and facilities.
I'm Mary Grace Brown, here at the Milken Institute School of Public Health, a state-of-the-art building at the George Washington University, recently opened in May. This building contains high-tech classrooms, laboratories, study spaces, and workout facilities, each built with environmentally sustainable features.
We're very excited because our building has achieved LEED Platinum status by the U.S. Green Building Council. So the new building is the first time that all 7 academic departments have been under one roof. We also have a yoga studio, an exercise facility, and labs in the basement. And we have kitchens for the students to use, conference rooms, we have convening centers so that we can host events, we have an auditorium so that we can host events. So we have multiple uses for the building.
Small class sizes provide for an intimate and engaging setting among students and their professors.
The student-to-teacher ratio within the School of Public Health is really, really nicely small. It feels a lot more close-knit than a lot of my other bigger classes.
The comfortable, window-facing study spaces are especially popular among students.
I also utilize the studying a lot. There's 7 floors with tables outlooking Washington Circle. It's a beautiful view for studying.
I really plan on studying in this building only because the study spaces are very clean and quiet, and I kind of can't wait to study for finals. Is that weird?
Yes,
that's weird.
The School of Public Health also offers a number of workout classes available to all GW students.
So I'm not in the School of Public Health, but I have a class every morning at 8. It's yoga. I've never taken yoga before, but this is the first time I've made it to every 8 a.m. class ever.
I'm really excited about the School of Public Health because I'm really happy and excited to get into my life of helping people through medicine, and I feel like I'm getting a head start on that.
Thanks, Mary Grace. As for off-campus, the popular gym SoulCycle has finally made it to DC, sending GW students into a spinning craze. Reporter Elena Treen has the story.
One of the hottest workouts has come to DC. SoulCycle, popular in cities all over the country, is making its mark in the city.
It's a really incredible workout. I come to SoulCycle about 3 to 5 times a week.
The studio has a way of drawing people in and making them part of the SoulCycle family.
Not only is it a physical workout, but it's a community, and every time I walk through the doors, I say hi to everyone at the desk and the staff, and everyone here, whether you're a rider, an instructor, or manager, everyone's just welcoming and makes you feel physically and emotionally uplifted.
I'm Elena, and I'm here outside SoulCycle, where we are going to be asking Garrett, one of the instructors, a few questions about why he loves SoulCycle so much.
As an instructor, Garrett aims to make SoulCycle unlike any other workout you can experience.
Not only is it going to kick your butt, but our instructors do a really awesome job of encouraging you to think about the workout not only in terms of what's happening inside that room, but we combine inspirational coaching and sayings and methods of getting you motivated.
Motivation comes in the form of dancing to club music and riding by candlelight.
We took the ordinary spin workout and we created our own style of riding. So basically you're entering into a workout that's more like dancing and more like a nightclub. We specifically ride in the candlelight for a reason. It's not about the people around you, it's about you. It's time for you to reflect.
This environment is what brings people in.
I love the music. I love how you're all kind of packed in there tight. You can kind of feel the energy from other people when you're riding.
Yet perhaps the only caveat? Pricing.
SoulCycle is incredibly expensive, so I haven't really fitted into my normal workout routine, and that's okay with me. I think I'll use the one in DC more as like a special occasion or like a bad day or that kind of thing.
But if you do decide to treat yourself, where can you start?
First step is getting in the door and deciding that you're willing to experience something truly unique and unlike anything else out there.
Reporting in Northwest DC, I'm Elena Treen.
Looks like a lot of fun, Elena. Thanks for that. Well, that's it for our show. Make sure to check us out on our website, www.gw-tv.com, for the latest stories happening right on campus. Until next time, we'll be seeing you around GW.